Do you want to live a life of freedom and adventure? Are you wanting more than the daily grind? Me too. Welcome to the EMMA LOVELL Show, a place where we talk about living a life you love now. I'm your host, Emma Lovell, and my number one value is freedom. I've spent the last 14 years running a business and traveling the world, and now I take my husband and toddler along for the adventure too. It's possible, and I know you can create a life doing what you truly love as well. This podcast will inspire, motivate, and encourage you to go after your dreams, to create a life you love and to live it now, not wait for retirement or someday in the future. I'll be sharing episodes weekly about how I harmonize business, travel, and self-care. I'll also bring on incredible guests to share their journeys, the wins, the challenges, and how they're creating a life they love. Let's jump in and get dreaming. This is a space for you to manifest a life you love. I would like to acknowledge and recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first peoples of this place, now known as Australia. I am grateful for the continuing care of the land, waterways and skies where I work, live, listen, learn and play. From here on Yugambeh country and from wherever you are listening, I pay my respects to the elders past and present. Traveling with kids while you run your business. Is this your idea of hell? Or is this something that intrigues you and inspires you and it's something that you'd like to do more of? Well, I do it, and I've been running my business for how long? 15 years, but I've been running my business with my son for more than 4 years now. So he is 4.5, and I've been traveling with him since he was 4 months old. So welcome today to the EMMA LOVELL Show. We've kicked off a little bit differently. This is a show all about how to combine your business, travel, and self-care in what I call the pleasure life. So we're finding the harmony between our work and our lives, because really we only have one life and it's all one and the same. So I want you to stop waiting for one day, someday in the future, and start living that life now. And part of that is being with your children. And I don't think it has to be an either or. I think it can be both. But there are also times where I've done all too much at once, and it's probably a bit much. So behind me is my book, The Art of Pleasure. And in my book, The Art of Pleasure, I have a chapter on travel with kids. And at one point, I wasn't sure whether to include it, but it's a huge part of my life, and it's a question that I get asked about. I also wasn't sure whether to include it when I did a speech at UTS, the University of Technology, Sydney, which is where basically the structure of my book came from after doing a talk on the alternate career path. And I included travel with kids because I felt like it was important, and obviously it's part of my story. I share my son, I post about him on socials. He's a big part of my life, and I feel inspired and motivated to travel more, but to travel with him. I've done jet setting solo. I've traveled with my husband, and I do want to do more of that. I've traveled with friends. I travel for work, but you know, a huge part of my heart is missing if I'm not including my son. And so I included it in the talk, and I loved that afterwards these two young women came up, maybe early 20s, and they said, "Thank you so much for talking about travel with your kids, because, and even running your business with kids, because we feel like it's either or, and we have to choose." And even at that young age, thinking, is it even possible for me to have children and to have a career, and let alone travel as well? And I was just so grateful that I put it in there. And even people now who have children, who are working, still feel like, is it possible for me to do this? And for some, they don't want to. They want to keep holidays and leisure as that. I can understand that. But then a lot of the year is cut out. You've got school holidays. So then you're saying, I don't want to travel in school holidays. It's too expensive. So we've got 13 weeks of the year where you potentially won't travel, or you go, we have to travel only at that time. I'm only allowed 4 weeks of travel because of how I work. If you run a business, that's not the case, but potentially if you want to give yourself 4 weeks off, because that's the usual time. If you're in the US or something, it's 2 weeks off. And so that's the only time of the year that you're going to travel. I think that's so restrictive and limiting. And for me, soul crushing, to be honest. And so one of the things that I talk about with travel with kids while running a business is potentially the land of the long weekend could be the place that would be perfect for you. So Obviously, if you want to go further afield, you want to do a bigger trip, we do need a bit more time for that. But sometimes it's those 3, 4, 5 day top ups of the tank that are the best they're a little trip, but they're the best for your soul. A getaway with friends for the weekend, a long weekend camping trip, a trip to the snow, just a long weekend, like 3 days. 3 days can be such an amazing amount of time. And if you can leave on the Thursday night, you get 3 whole nights, 3 whole days. And there's so much, I have no doubt there's so much within a few hours of you that would be a beautiful getaway. And so when you're feeling like it's overwhelming to travel, I always suggest starting with a shorter trip. And it's a great taste tester. It's great for everyone. Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hour flight if that's something you want to try. Or I love a driving distance. And we're very fortunate. We're here in the Gold Coast. We have Brisbane an hour away, which is a different city. We have the Sunshine Coast, which is 2 to 3 hours away. Some of the most beautiful spots, holiday spots that we know. Gold Coast itself, of course, is a tourist destination. So even staying in a different part of the coast, up in the mountains, or staying further down south, it's a bit different to where we are. And then we have the Northern Rivers as well, which is in New South Wales. So Byron Bay is a very famous place and it's an hour and a half away. So we have a lot within our region and we haven't even started going inland. So there's a couple of hours. Inland is the Granite Belt and there's wine vineyards and sort of the more that country style of stay. So I would really encourage you to think about what's in your immediate area. So that's talking about a getaway or just a long weekend or a break. But if you want to travel with your children and work so that you can go further for longer, I think this is entirely possible. Is it going to be easy? I would just say, like, when is it easy at home trying to work and trying to manage children and trying to live your life? Like, it feels like a trudge and a drudge at times at home. So for me, it's like, why not do it somewhere fabulous? And in some ways, for us, going to India, say, is easier than being here because when we are there, we don't drive, we have a driver, which we obviously pay for. We stay in hotels where there's laundry service, food, a pool. Like, we don't have to do any of the day-to-day. The cleaning is done. So all we have to do is entertain our child and parent him. But we don't have to cook and clean and drive and figure all those sorts of things out. It's a huge weight off. Also, that in countries like India, Bali, Thailand, Fiji, a lot of countries in Asia, nanny and childcare services are really affordable. In countries like Bali or Indonesia and Fiji, in particular with resort style places, Thailand, they would have kids clubs in the place. One of the things that we love doing is going on cruise ships where because there's a kids club. And so we're in the Mediterranean in Italy. I am sitting on the balcony with my laptop. I could have sat at the desk in my room, or I could have gone to the library on the boat, but I sat on the balcony with the laptop out and worked while my husband went to the gym and my son went to the kids club. And I worked for 4 hours. And that's a huge day for me. You can be so productive in a few hours. So I would encourage you to think about when you're traveling and working, you're not going to work a 9 to 5. That isn't maybe always possible. You could set your day up like that and get the support around that, but potentially you only need 4 to 5 hours of solid time. So the biggest thing if you're going to travel with your children and with your family and your partner is communication. So communicating what days you're going to work, when you need to be working, where you need to be doing that work. And so for us coming up, we're doing a road trip. While you're probably listening to this, we will already be in America and I will be working along the way. But I'm setting myself up for success by preparing ahead of time, and I am scheduling a lot of content, including the podcast, including newsletters, including social media, so that a lot of that is already done and I'm not going, it's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. I have an email to send and we haven't sent it. Oh, I've got a meeting. Oh, I'm not ready. So I'm preparing a lot of anything that can be prepared ahead of time. We're trying to prepare this week without pressure, without going, oh my gosh, everything has to be done because things can be done. But if we could get at least a week or maybe 2 ahead, because I will be gone for 3.5 weeks, then I know that things are already organized. We're going to be doing a road trip. So we're going to be driving sometimes for 6 or 7 hours a day. Now, I can work from the car. I like doing that, but also understanding that I won't be as productive as if I'm sitting at a desk. So then working out on the work days of Monday to Friday or weekdays. Weekends, I'll really give myself off. If I feel creative or I feel inspired, I'll do some work. I do love working on a Sunday when it's quiet. And if we're in a car for 7 hours, I'm happy to use that time. But I'll be giving myself 2 to 3 hours a day. So I'm working that out ahead of time, looking at the calendar and going, where can I have 2 to 3 hours a day? And that's a negotiation with my partner as well. What time of the day is better? And because of the time zones, the evening will be better. So if I could be available in the evenings, if he can do bedtime or we're in the hotel, I can do 2 or 3 hours at night, which crosses over with the Australian time zone. Do a few hours of work each day. That will be highly productive. Anything that has a bit longer term, like not needed live, I can do at any time of the day. But 2 to 3 hours is probably realistic. And I think I really challenge you to think, how much could you actually get done in 2 to 3 hours if that's all the time you have? And for me, I'm much better with boundaries when I'm overseas because I'm like, at home today, I've got 8 hours. Oh, I could do it now, I could do it later. Oh, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. Oh no, now it's pickup time. Now it's this, now it's that. I'll just do it at night because I have the time. But when I'm on holidays or we're traveling, I don't want to eat into my day like that. So I'm like, okay, I have 2 hours at night to work. I don't want to be too tired tomorrow, so I'm going to do my 2 hours, get to bed so that I'm fresh for the day with the family. Or if I choose to work in the morning, then it's like, okay, I've got 2 to 3 hours because then I want to go explore Yellowstone National Park in Montana, or I want to be out exploring the largest independent bookstore in the world, Powell's Bookstore in Portland. And if I let my work take over while I'm there and I don't use my time productively, that eats into it. So I'm highly motivated to do my work in the time that I have. So first step, communication. When am I going to be working and how am I going to be working? Second step, planning content ahead or planning whatever you can ahead to go out, especially as a business owner. If it's with our work colleagues, then planning meetings and things around. But any work that you sort of prep ahead of time or start, make it easier for yourself. The third thing I'd say is support, and potentially it's going to a place where there's a kids club or where there's a childcare service. But also if that's not a possibility for the location that you're going, we're on the road. It will be for a part of our trip. We're going to stay near my cousin in outside Chicago in a place called Roscoe, Illinois. And there's a gym with a creche. So we go to the gym and we pay for the creche. It's my friend's gym, so we do trust them. And it's like they're the childcare providers. It's a proper facility. He can go there for 2 hours. And so what I do is I do an hour in the gym and then I can do an hour of catching up on my emails. Or I can do an hour at the spa and swimming. But I actually do like a 30-minute workout. So if he has 2 hours in there, I can have just a bit of me time. And he's having a great time. One of the things that I think children miss, and someone said was really important when you're traveling with kids, is to do something just for them. And so the gym is for me, he gets to go in a room full of toys with other children and with childcare workers, and it's set up for children. And he was so excited. We did a trip to Europe a few years ago when we got to my aunt's house because although we'd been on playgrounds and we'd been seeing a wonderful toy shops and been in parks and outdoors and waterfalls and all these cool things, he just wanted to play with some toys. And we got to my aunt's house and she's got a granddaughter, and so there were toys there and he was just so happy to see some new toys. So potentially just going somewhere where they get to interact with toys. So if there are any indoor play centers or things like that. We also met up with a friend in the UK and went to one of those indoor play centers. So finding things like that, doing an activity that is specifically for your child, giving them that. Someone gave me the tip that they did. They would go to New York on a buying trip as a family, and in the morning they would go to a toy store with the kids and they're like, here's $10, buy whatever you want, have fun in the toy store, and then the rest of the day is like sightseeing or we're doing our work stuff. And so then the kids are all happy because they've had their tank topped up. They've got a toy to play with all day. And I just thought, what a great idea. Do the thing for the child in the morning. So go to the playground first, go to the play center first, do the thing for them first, because then they're going to be on side a lot more than if you go, oh, at the end of the day, we'll do the thing that you want to do. But if you can, take having a partner there who agrees to work, have your child while you're working, going to a place where there is dedicated childcare, or taking a grandparent or a friend. That's something I also do with our travels. We have gone away with 4 adults to 1 child. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm not winning today I'm recording a podcast and I've had 2 different calls, but having support. And the 4th thing I'll say, I mean, I could talk about this all day, but in terms of traveling with your kids and working, is just to have some kindness to yourself and some compassion, and understand that you're going to be doing the best you can. So whatever your capacity is at home, just understanding that potentially you're going to be at 50% or 30% capacity. So whatever you can do in that time is great. And for me, it's more like keeping the business going. I don't stop the business. I have a few calls to deliver, but I do a lot less delivery while I'm away. It's a lot more background work. I have things planned in advance. And so it's more staying on top of messages, creating content to stay visible and obviously very aligned with what I do, that I can be sharing the pleasure content as I go, and to be sharing offers. I can still be sharing offers and sharing information about how to work with me as I go, so that it doesn't just all drop off a cliff and I come back and I have to try and pick up all the pieces. So staying on top of my emails is really important. Getting back to people who are interested in my offers, staying visible on social media, and having our regular communications go out. If that's all we do in that time, that's amazing. So just understanding your capacity is going to be less, and that's okay, but that you can still do it. And for me to get to do more travel throughout the year, to have my business continuing throughout the year, to still be making money and be on the road, that's an incredible thing to be doing. And if you're working in a job, there's potential that you could be working 4 to 5 hours a day, but just from somewhere else. And you can still be, you don't have to eat into your annual leave. So I don't know what your setup is, but I just want to give you the permission. So total, like, hand on heart, I'm never going to say it's easy. There will all be challenges, but I think there's challenges at home. So just changing your mindset around what travel with kids while running a business looks like, but then also giving yourself permission to do it now and not have to wait till one day or someday in the future. So I hope that's been helpful. I'm sure there's plenty more questions about how I do it. I love, probably a Q&A would be amazing, just because I can just go off on tangents. So I hope those tips have been helpful. Let me know what you would like more of. This is totally what we do in the Pleasure Life Plan too. We have a module on travel, and there are a couple of videos, 2 or 3 videos and sections that speaks specifically to traveling with your family, traveling with children, and making it work. We also have information on traveling while running a business. So all these tips about how I've done it and how to do it. We have a module on income, so how you can generate other income if you wanted to just get income from other streams while you're still working. All of that and more is in the Pleasure Life Plan. So head to pleasurelife.au/, and I'm just going to check the URL, /pleasure-life-plan. And you can see all the information about that. You can join the course anytime, and then we're going to have live rounds a couple times throughout the year. So you do also get a one-on-one call with me. So if that's something that you're interested in, head there or email me at emma@emmalovell.au and I'll give you the details. Thank you for being here. I love hearing from you, what you want to hear about, what you want to learn more about. And please do come along and follow me, Emma@emmalovell.au on Instagram, and you'll see all about our upcoming USA road trip. And I will be doing a before and after episode so you can hear what we planned and how it went. Thank you so much, and I'll be with you next time. Thank you for listening, lovely one. I hope this has inspired you to dream big and start creating a life you love today. If you love what you're hearing, don't forget to follow and rate on Spotify, and rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. It helps other awesome people to find this podcast and get motivated and inspired as well. Want to stay connected? Come and join the Live a Life You Love group on Facebook, or connect with me on Instagram, emmalovell.au. The same as my website, but all the details are in the show notes, lovely. I'll see you next episode for more inspiration, motivation, and freedom seeking. Now go out there and live a life you love.